We're going to maintain our casters here live back on the air. Mustache Dave and Necro, take us away.
Damn, son, already game number two, dropping in hot. Necro, Dave on the mic. Miramar won a game number one. Necro, though, already in the Miramar match.
Oh man, here we go. The Deserty lands of Miramar, and I do want to see what's going to be happening on such a massive map already, because we talked about some drop clashes coming in El Pozo, and well, two of the big teams out there, man. What are your expectations, Dave?
Yeah, we're looking at El Pozo, Enigma Galaxy, A7, and then Monte Nuevo down to South next Ria. So there could be some early clashes. Not only that, Hacienda, right? Hacienda del Patron. I believe Godlike like to go there. S2G like to go there.
That's a big one.
There's a lot of what ifs. I know we had practice. I know we had scripts, but the big thing is that was then. This is now. This is when everything matters. This is when it's all on the line. So with that in mind, can a team realistically afford to hot drop another team to risk the potential of getting 0 points here? That's the question up in the air.
That's what got me thinking as well, because now we also know that you don't really have a lot of games to mess around with. You cannot just try out some new strats completely and then maybe, try and work things out. But no, another Southern Circle inside the map of Miramar. These are quite rare, Dave.
As rare as it gets. I'm just trying to soak it all in because we get circle number one. There's some water in play, and yeah, this is Miramar. Go figure. But up there to the north, I'm still looking. We got ST. We got 4 rivals. S2G. Like all these squads are still hot dropping on each other essentially.
Oh man, they just don't care. They want that early smoke.
They don't care.
And well, guess what? Yep, I'm pretty sure they will probably get the early smoke, unless if Enigma Galaxy just do not want to give A7 what they want. A7, of course, is one of the most aggressive teams out there, and they're not going to be backing out from a fight without any kind of they would at least want some elim points on their name to start the day off. And A7, they are out for blood without a doubt. H2G for now in Hacienda del Patron, they have gone to full control of that side, so seems like somewhere down line, Godlike has backed off from there.
Hit that subscribe, by the way. Notifications on. That's guaranteed you can get it done. Shout out to all the viewers, by the way. I was watching a ton of people watching right now, a ton of people cheering for Godlike in the YouTube chat, and a ton of people cheering for Stalwart Esports. So I'm looking at this game though. You're kind of touching on it. The redemption, Alpha 7. I called Alpha 7. 7 called Alpha 7. Last game, couple elim points. We saw them on that bridge camp on that east side. Didn't really play out in their favor. And I'm looking at Alpha 7 because I feel like game number 2 needs to be their game to really come back, I want to say. Get that momentum, those juices flowing so that they can play their confident play style that at least I'm used to seeing from them in that West League.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if you talk about Alpha 7, the first thing that comes up in my mind is that aggression they show, and also the the consistency that Alpha 7 in general have, right? They're just one of those teams that do not like to back away from the fights, but at the same time, they do manage to get decent amount of points for themselves each and every single game. So, which is quite understandable. Alpha 7, this is what they're known for, but I do want to see what exactly, what kind of things are going on for Godlike over here, because we did not see them in Hacienda del Patron.
Godlike, I'm not going to lie. Last game, I was extremely impressed with that grenade from Jonathan.
Oh,
Jonathan went for a nice little rotate to wrap around their teammates to kind of get that off angle, while 3 of their squad mates were in the front lines, kind of taking that fight with Alpha 7. They did an okay job, but then you had Carrillo in the back lines playing Overwatch, and Carrillo was really able to put a stop to that push over that little ledge. And so all that pressure was on Jonathan. And with all that being said, Jonathan did come out on top, in my opinion, in that very challenging situation. So Godlike, man, Godlike have a ton of people cheering for him. They're at the biggest stage right now. They got a lot to prove. They got some teammates that do have that world experience, I believe the desk was talking about. If there was kind of that wild card to disrupt the lobby, and let me get your take on this. I feel like it's Godlike, right? Godlike
Without a
can
doubt.
be that disruption to the lobby. And the reason I'm saying that is because we had East League and we had West League. 9 teams from East League, they're playing here. 6 teams from West League, they're playing here. So those teams are kind of familiar with each other. If you get what I'm laying down, they kind of know each other's habits somewhat. So they have a big advantage when it comes to that. Who they don't know the habits of, they don't know the habits of Godlike. Yeah, you could have watched them, but you don't have that in-game experience against Godlike. So I really feel like Godlike could be that wild card factor with some of these teams.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, just that one game slipping out of hands, it's fun. You can completely afford that one game. But as you mentioned, Godlike can definitely be that wild card factor. And if they are, it's going to be one of the biggest storylines without a doubt. Godlike, they dropped over here. They did not want any kind of early fight, so I do like the improvisation coming in from their side. Water treatment is where they opted to drop out. So HTG as well, early rotations. A lot of teams, they do not want to waste any kind of time. And Godlike, we are seeing them make those late game rotations happen, which is quite questionable. Most of the times they don't really work out, but maybe they have some kind of backup plan building through.
Not that, just looking at BGIS, Godlike, they tend to favor when they get into these skirmishes, kind of a 3-1 split where they got one of their teammates up in the front lines, really keeping that pressure on. Meanwhile, they separate their other 3 teammates to cover that one squad mate in the front line. So they got all angles pretty much covered. And I feel like that's kind of one of those new metas that we're starting to see. Alpha 7 kind of did that a little bit in the West League. It paid off big time for them. So I'm really cheering for Godlike and just their overall momentum that I have to assume they're feeling right now. They have to be pumped to be playing in this lobby. So Miramar, okay, let's get into the game. Looking at all the players, we didn't lose anybody yet. So that's a good sign for the players here. Almost, 7 minutes into the game. A lot of early rotates. Anything sticking out to Necro? Anything that Necro sees is like, oh man, what's happening there? Or is this all things, another day at the office, big chilling?
I mean, one more classic thing that I'm seeing, Navi again going for those late game rotations. This is what we're really known for. But yeah, as you were talking about that 3-1 split, now it's pretty good when it comes to the individual team fights, right? But if you get third party, now we casted the West Side, Dave, and we do know how many third parties happen in West Side. And 3-1 split, I feel like they're most vulnerable, especially when a third party happens. Especially if you have the one player separated out in the open, if he gets taken out, the rest 3 players, they're also kind of separated out from each other. And if you get third party in that situation, Dave, you're pretty much screwed.
Yeah, somewhat. And to me, it comes down to map knowledge, like knowing the terrain and knowing what sight lines you might be exposed to, right? Not only that, the spacing in between your split. As long as your spacing isn't too far from each other, for example, to add to your point, if one of your teammates gets knocked down, as long as that spacing isn't too far, you should be able to get the pickup, right? If you are safe to do so, of course. So that's another thing to keep in mind. And Godlike, just watching BGIS, a lot of the fights that they were in, they were aware of the terrain. They took these nice fights when they would push out in the open, where they knew for a fact what angles were covered, which angles weren't covered. And if those angles weren't covered, they had a teammate covering it for them, if you get what I'm saying here. So Godlike, I'm telling you, I'm a big fan of Godlike. I am really happy that they made it here, and I think they could really disrupt this lobby.
Dude, I myself am a huge fan of Godlike. You know what they say, hashtag they'll say Godlike, and that's what I'm going to say as well. But yeah, for now, the circle shift as well, kind of going to be moving down south again, a little bit tilted on the right side, which is completely fine. That means there is going to be a lot much more free compounds for other teams to try and take it. But yeah, now, as you were also talking about the kind of separation, you should not really be separated from each other a little too much. And I feel like for that is a perfect example has to be Stalwart Esports. I just like how they adapt in each and every single fight, right? It's not like they don't separate a little too much in these fights. It's like they do that, but if only they have a clear knockout easy. Like if they're sure that they're going to be getting this knockout, then only they will make that huge separation happen. Unless they just try to keep themselves separated, but not too much.
Yeah, Stalwart Esports, another prime example that we saw last game. Every time we would look at them, they either had a 2-2 split or they had a 3-1 split with action in the front line. And that reminded me a lot. We saw it, not to be too biased here, but from North America, when Coops got invited onto the Knights, that was exactly what they did, and that played out big time for him up until a certain point. But Stalwart Esports doing the same thing here with Action. You got that front line gunner, the one that seals the deal. Just make sure that they stay alive. Not only that, but Top always opening up these engagements for him. But talking about opening up these engagements, yeah, Nox Bump. Dude, did you see that tracking right there? Well,
Dude, that was
1-2
insane.
dirt nap out here.
Oh, if I am the player dying right there, I'm saying, I'm yelling he's a cheater. I'm yelling. There's no way. You know, it's just, that's just me if I'm playing the game.
Oh, damn, son. That's why I'm yelling. If I get taken out like that, like they were full pedal to the metal right there.
Oh, my God.
What a nice shot there. And this is Fenerbahce. Last game, we saw them. They got heated. They got crashed upon. Didn't work out in their favor. And if they would have won that fight, they would have came out big time because that compound was solid. So a lot of these teams, they're looking for that redemption, I feel like, in game number 2. All these teams are top-notch. They all have the skill. They made it here. They're here for a reason. But, of course, you don't want to get 0 points in a game. So I'm really looking for these bottom teams to perform here in this match to really get it going.
Oh, dude. Nextria, one of those teams, they won the West League, dude. Completely surprising all of us. And I do want to see now what Nextria they are going to be doing in the Grand Finals as well. We've been talking quite a lot about all these other teams. Nextria, one of those teams, I feel like we need to talk about them a little bit more, having players like frozen underneath your sleeves. And if I'm going to hold on to my words for now, again, Godlike being held at the bay. And this is what I really do not like. Those late rotations do not work out most of the times. And Godlike, again, being held off at bay. And this time, it's Stalwart Esports doing the same thing. But guess what? It's going to be a little third party from the side of Na'Vi. And, of course, it's a West team doing the third party.
Yeah, they're definitely going to lose one in this process. Godlike out there, but they're kind of catching a break because now Na'Vi going to be applying that pressure to Stalwart. So it is what it is, as these teams going to be up here in the north trying to outrun the blue zone, now closing in on them. Stole the kill, but the other 3 teammates of Godlike, they were able to successfully get on out of harm's way. They're still in their vehicles. They're ready to react to this next circle shift. Oh, but no, as I said, Neo. Godlike. This rotation, man, it isn't paying out in their favor right now.
Dude, late rotations, I'm telling you, it's really hard to get those down. Late rotations most of the times do not really work out, but for now, Na'Vi, they're looking pretty good. Another one of those teams that do like to rotate pretty late, but in the previous Erangel game, I did like the adaptive nature from their side. I did like it was kind of like a huge change in the pace that we saw from how Na'Vi played back in the league days, but now Stalwart Esports, that's a huge spray from top. Connect quite a lot of shots, but I also do see Downward Gaming going against H2G in the kill feed, but oh my God, Kitsune barely made it on the other side of the edge.
And look at the different play styles here. Na'Vi, they see the next circle shift and they prioritize sending it, trying to get a better position in that circle. Meanwhile, Stalwart, they aren't worried, right? They're playing this one slow, they are relaxing, and they were able to get a couple shots out there on that Na'Vi rotate. And it just goes to show, at least to me, the confidence right now that Stalwart, that they have the ability to play slow, that they're not going to let these zones kind of dictate their movement. They're not going to let these zones apply pressure on the bigger picture gameplay here, game plan that is, that they are coming in here with.
Oh, dude, the game plan, as you mentioned, they're also going to be rolling out some like secret cards, I'm pretty sure, on the day too, and I cannot wait for that. But yeah, Team Secret now, quite close to the players of H2G. There was a fight going on between Downward Gaming and H2G. Couple of casualties. We did witness those as well. Downward Gaming as well, short one player. Same thing goes with H2G. Team Secret. Do you realize in the front there is a team? They also taking things quite slow. Stalwart Esports. Again, they're just tailing Na'Vi around.
Action. Down there. Tixie. No. Able to. Oh, look at that tracking, by the way. The gyro right there from Action. But yeah, I guess Stalwart Esports, you can also say they're a little more comfortable in this situation when I'm talking about that pressure from the zones, because they do have 29 points from last game. We can see the leaderboard right there on that right-hand side compared to Na'Vi with 1 elim point from this game. So they're going to have 8. So that mental game, and it is gonna play a factor here for a lot of these players and their decision making for sure.
Mental game, always an important factor. Big tournaments like this, and Action just trying to blow Tixie's Weekle. Did bust out a tire, so Tixie now will have to move out in the open, trying to pop in V, trying to dodge those shots, but not enough movement indeed, and Top is going to be finding him. Tixie goes down. Tixie eliminated out the game. That's not really good news for Na'Vi. Na'Vi left with only 2 players alive.
And you can just see the concentration right there on Top's face as well. I think I saw a little sweat drip from their forehead right there. Like, that is how tunnel vision they are. I love the player cams, by the way. I love that we get to see their looks. I love that we get to see their grips that they're using. And just that determination. Next zone goes up, so hopefully they're a little more determined because they are on the opposite end. So Stalwart Esports, they are going to have the challenge to reposition now in this new circle that did once again favor the south and favor the water.
Oh, did you see the split from Infinity as well inside the zone? They had like all 4 players separated out, and as soon as they realized next trio is closing in, they just retreated back. Now they have a 2-2 split. Both these compounds are being acquired by Infinity, and Infinity have the prime positioning inside the zone, including Nigma Galaxy. Now they can try and play this off as safe as possible, or else they can try and rack up some kill points that are the teams that are trying to make it inside the zone. Team Secret, though, pretty close to Furious Gaming. Or I guess I gotta say, Poppy Potro is pretty close to Team Secret.
Yeah, if there was a player that can really clutch this one out, Poppy Pocho is that player.
There we go.
Popping up with that UMP. Surprise! Exactly what they're saying. What I want to see now is some type of support, though, from the back lines. Maybe send one teammate down there in the front lines to help support Poppy Pocho, but it looks like the 3 teammates are going to remain up there in the hills playing that oversight position.
Oh, they're just the scouts right now. They're just giving so much information to Poppy Potro. They're kind of like they're his eyes behind the sight lines.
But look at Jumper. Jumper recognizes what angles are currently going to be occupied. He knows for a fact that the south, the wall is going to be the perfect cover. And Furious Gaming, the 3 teammates on the hills, they don't have sight lines behind that hill. And Poppy Procho, well, got caught slipping.
At HDG, they're just like, all right, don't mind us, guys. We're just making our way through. We're peaceful. We're friendly. Just got some free safe pathway out of that miserable situation. Yeah, now again, Furious Gaming, they have 1 man down. Poppy Potro is a huge man, and you do want to make sure he's back up on his feet. Down 1 Gaming. Seems like they're charging up on DX Xavier. Lamborghini's position, is it compromised? That's the question. And I'm pretty sure it has to be at this point in time. Fabian just cooking up an aid. Wants to lob in right outside. And yep, as just Stalwart Esports as well, rolling out on the sidelines, but I'm not really sure. I don't think so they're going to be challenging a fight.
No, they're zooming by. They're looking to reposition. They're looking to get into the circle. So DX Xavier back against the wall. 2 squad mates right there trying to defend this compound up against 3.
Duck in the back, knocked out. Not a good news. Not a good news at all.
They do have the ability to play this one a little slow, but not too slow, because look at the circle shift. This fight is not in the next zone. And looks like Frankie going to be popping in that Bucky, trying to reposition. That could be risky. But Silas, Silas, I saw Silas cooking the grenade right there, trying to toss that one out onto Pika, but Pika did not allow that to happen. Hopefully they can pick up Action, though, because look at this. Action crawling on their knees, but Action has that M249. The squad wiper, so that can come in clutch. Next zone, once again, Nigma Galaxy. They picked that compound on the coast, and look at this. I have a feeling it's going to play out in their favor, because where else can it go? Not only that, it's on a main road, so you have to assume some teams, they might rotate on that main road for quick access. And look at that. Yes, they do get the circle shift. So Nigma Galaxy easily looking at a top 5 if they can defend their compound.
Oh, they're chilling. They're chilling big time. Unless they're just going to be witnessing a huge wave of teams coming in onto their compound, just trying to ram their vehicles right onto it. I'm pretty sure that's going to be happening in the future. For now, DX Xavier, Frankie being taken out. Lamborghini's the man. And certainly, this time is not as quick as his name. Instead, taking things a little slow, being as cautious as possible. Popping that medkit as well. It's taken down to 70% of HP. And Lamborghini, I do understand the only man alive, has a lot of pressure, but guess what? Strikes at the right time.
Not only that, as a solo here on Miramar, you got a lot of dips, you got a lot of terrain to work with to try to avoid any type of sightline. So maybe they could solo snake it and come out on top with some additional placement points. Fenerbahce out there in the distance. They are going to have to reposition here very shortly. Paraboy, though, look at that. Another teammate on the field. M249 out there in the open, looking to get some nice shots on out. Well, Lamborghini did reposition. They saw the water, and they said, YOLO, sending it straight to the water. That's a good play, though. I like that play a lot.
That is indeed kind of like the safest route you can take inside these kind of zones. But A7 looking to take out the man in the close. And it's going to be Couture from Nextruya. Easily being taken care of. A7 now, they also need to make it inside the zone. So the pathway in the front is going to be a little exposed. But it's fine. They've got the Weakles covering their back. Senatex and Mafioso, they're going to be making their way slowly inside the zone. Infinity as well. As I mentioned, they had a really great positioning until the zone moved away from them. But still, they can try and hold off the teams that are in the back, including Nova. But Jimmy's the only man alive.
Yeah, still pretty solid position, though, all things considered. I think a little bit of it is in the next circle, and we saw they have those different levels of terrain to work with. So as long as they can make sure nobody surprises them from behind, they should be looking ahead, looking downhill. And as long as they have some vehicles to maybe work with, they are looking pretty solid, in my opinion, especially with 4 up.
Oh, they are looking really solid. Team Secret right on the edge, including Stalwart Esports. This game definitely not as good as expected, but Team Secret for sure. Even though they're hurt, they're not down yet. They're still giving a huge fight to all these teams in the lobby. 2 players alive. Shot should be back up on his feet in no time. A7. Carrillo taken out. That's not going to be keeping A7 settled. They need to make sure Carrillo's going to be back up on his feet. And next, Ria is the one trying to hold him off at bay. Yikta going to be confirming the kill on to Carrillo. Barely alive on a sliver of health, but Yikta still charges forward, and he is getting taken care of.
Yeah, charging downhill like that. No real option because the next zone did shift. So
what is
that
this
pressure?
Circle?
Yep, that pressure just added on top of that one. So Mafioso happy after that elim, looking to loot some crates, looking to get some additional meds, re-up on the ammo, and then pretty much reposition to Senatexa, who I believe has a pretty solid snaking position out there on that road. As long as they can avoid the sightlines from Enigma Galaxy, who have been, we have to say, they have been big chilling this whole game. What a position they called out, and what a position they claimed early on here.
Exactly, but I don't like the split coming in from Raouf. All the way separated out. I understand it's a 3-1 split, but still, in these kind of moments, you're not supposed to separate out, and that's what exactly I was saying, because soon there might be a lot of charge-ins, and Raouf, he does have the buggy underneath the water, but he got spotted, taking a lot of shots, and oh no! Steps out the buggy in the nick of time, but Infinity, here comes a charge-in through from their side as well.
I did like the Raouf play as long as they don't get taken out here, because to me that's like the insurance policy. You send one into the water because you know water's in play, and you make sure that they stay alive. Meanwhile, use your numbers to your advantage. See, we need to see Freak, we need to see Lord, we need to see them be putting in that pressure to make sure that insurance policy in the water does stay alive, and they weren't able to pull that off here.
Oh, not anymore. The insurance policy gets taken away from them. Unfortunate. Team Secret, but still, Enigma Galaxy, they have the man advantage inside this entire situation, and they can always turn it into a victory. Unless, again, they don't make any kind of rookie mistakes. Team Secret, Shots the only man alive, but all it takes is that one little mistake, and Shots will get a huge chance to try and bounce back.
Another huge game, too, when we're talking elim points for these top teams. Alpha 7, I saw 7 elim points. Enigma Galaxy, 8 elim points, so they were able to really use that position, that compound in their favor. As Lord gonna be pulling up here, grenade, cooking it, looking to toss it. Let's see, will it be successful? Oh, Freak also going to water? I don't know about that one. I don't know about that one.
Yeah, that's a questionable play from Enigma Galaxy. I don't know why they did that. Trying their best to take out Shots, and finally a nade connects onto Shots. As we mentioned, got him, a huge got him moment without a doubt, but now it's a 2-on-2 situation, and A7, they thrive in these moments.
They do. Let's see, getting shot from the SLR. Now, just think about it. if they would have kept Freak alive, they would have had a 3v2 right now. But instead, Freak went into the water. Don't know why. Now they're down to just a 2v2. And this is Mafioso and Senatexa, two of the most consistent players from the West League.
Oh, using that bus as a movie cover as well. I do like what Hamuthi is trying to do here, but if Enigma Galaxy played things a little bit more safer, this wouldn't be the outcome. Yeah,
They're
Hamuthi taking down a little bit too low.
Up.
Yeah, as you mentioned, two grouped up. There needs to be a little separation. There needs to be a little bit more info gathering, and I do like what A7 are doing. Senatex are trying his best to give as much as visual info as possible to Mafioso, and Mafioso slowly and steadily sneaking around the ridge, making sure his presence isn't being sensed by Enigma Galaxy.
Exactly. Senatexa has that hard cover. Senatexa trying to keep these sight lines to make sure Enigma Galaxy stay pinned down. Meanwhile, Mafioso quietly sneaking up within grenade range. Enigma Galaxy are on top of each other. There goes one. Now it's up to Lord to clutch this one out. Oh, was able to take out Mafioso, but Senatexa full sending it right now.
Oh, the reply is there without a doubt. And as you mentioned, Senatexa full sending it down the line. He does have to favor him in those close range combat. Senatexa is not going to fall back, but the problem is Lord doesn't have HP favoring him, and he is trying his best to heal back up, but Senatexa is just a little too aggressive in these moments, and he will seal the deal on the final man of Enigma Galaxy. And A7 get that chicken dinner. Wow.
Let's go. Hey, did I just see you try to drop shot Senatexa? Nah, nah, not like
kills.
this. Alpha 7. Winner, chicken dinner in game number 2. And I gotta say, that split at the end, Senatexa covering the position from the high ground, Mafioso